Yeah, we don't need a countdown. Throwback Thursday, take two here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, welcome us back. Chris, what do you think? Should we just go straight to the rundown with no further ado at this point?
This is the rundown.
Sure, let's do that. Baseball action yesterday. Hillsboro 13, Antioch 1. Columbia Academy edges Battleground Academy 7-6. It was Clay County 3-1 winners over Blackman. Clarksville 10 runs. Springfield 11-1. It was Good Pasture 3-2 winners over Davidson Academy. Blanking Fayetteville, not Forest, was Eagleville 10-0. Innsworth down CPA 6-0. It was Murfreesboro Central 12-6 winners over Lawrence County. Loretto edging Lewis County 7-6. 10-0 winners were Middle Tennessee Christian over Webb School, as well as Nolensville over Brentwood. It was Oakland 11, Rockville 1. Summit Blanks Page 3-0. MBA 8-3 winners over Pope Prep. Ravenwood falls to Independence 13-3. Rossview Downs Dixon County 11-4. Riverdale 5, Siegel 0. Spring Hill 4-3 winners over Henderson County, Kentucky. Station Camp 2-0 over Macon County. I don't know what you just did. Control Z it if you don't mind.
I don't know what I just did either.
Thank you. Stewart's Creek 8-11, Smyrna 8, Summertown 8-6 over Wayne County. Giles County falls to Tullahoma 12-3, and Columbia Downs Warren County 13-4.
In softball action on Wednesday, Rockvale with a 3-1 win over Blackman. It was Clarksville blanking Kirkwood 15-0. On the pitch, boys soccer, Rockvale with a 2-1 win over Blackman. Also, Cookville defeated Smyrna 2-1. Laverne with a 4-0 victory over Lebanon, and Oakland won Siegel 0. In the association, the Memphis Grizzlies apparently have Milwaukee's number because they just downed them 111-101 last night. Major League Baseball, the Astros with an 8-0 victory over the Blue Jays. The Astros 2-0 in games where the other team does not score. St. Paul with a 6-5 victory over Nashville at First Horizon Park yesterday.
Baseball today. Lawrence County, Kentucky is at South. Why do we care? At South Doyle at 2:30. Tees Valley, Ohio is at Clarksville at 3. Brentwood Academy is at Lipscomb Academy at 4. Franklin, like the Admirals, are at Centennial at 4. Westmoreland at Christian Community also at 4. At 4:30, it's Andren, Indiana at Innsworth. Maplewood hosting Glencliff. Antioch at home against Lawson. Hendersonville goes to Clarksville Academy. That's a 4:45 first pitch. At 5 o'clock, it's CPA hosting White House. Ezo Harding at Friendship Christian. And again, I think Lawrence County is getting – I think there's a mix up with the Lawrence counties. Clarksville Christian is at West Creek at 5. At 5:30, Mattoon, Illinois is taking on Dixon County, and Joe Burns is at Stewart County.
6 o'clock start for Station Camp at Blackman, also Giles County at Collinwood. Columbia Central hosting Franklin County at 6. Also, Battleground Academy goes to Davidson Academy. Webb School is at Franklin Grace Christian. Riverdale hosting Siegel, and our guest in the next segment, Craig REAVIS. Murfreesboro Central goes to Smyrna at 6. Zion Christian hosting Mount Pleasant. At 6:30, Nolensville is at Brentwood. Loretto is at Columbia Academy. Creekwood hosting Kirkwood. Sycamore is at Harpeth. Martin Luther King is at Hume Fogg. Father Ryan goes down Franklin Road to Overton. Clarksville Northwest is at Montgomery Central. Also, Oakland is at Rockvale. Lawrence County of Tennessee goes across the border to Rogers of Alabama. East Robertson travels to White House Heritage. At 6:45, Henry County plays Greenbrier. 7 o'clock, Mishawaka of Indiana is at Clarksville Academy. Also at 7, Good Pastures at McGavock. Portland hosting Springfield. At 7:15, Wilson Central is at Laverne. At 7:30, Mount Juliet plays Collierville. At 7:45, Westfield of Indiana plays Beach. And these are games that we do not know when they start. Eagleville is at Forest, apparently. Whetstone of Ohio is at Rossview, and Cannon County travels to Watertown. Chris, if you'd like to take softball, I'll let you. Because
all right, let's do softball. Glencliff at Lawson at 4:30. Also at 4:30, Battleground Academies at Middle Tennessee Christian, and Pope Prep at home against Father Ryan at 5 o'clock. Ezo Harding at Donaldson Christian. Summit at Franklin. Good Pasture goes to Friendship Christian. Gallatin at home against Green Hill. Columbia Central goes at Lincoln County. Oof. White House is at Macon County. Mount Pleasant at home against Loretto. Mount Juliet Christian goes to Nashville Christian. Centennial's at Nolensville. Ravenwood's at Page. Portland is at Station Camp. At 5:30 tonight, Clarksville is at Northeast. Eagleville's at home against Fayetteville. That in softball, so it is Fayetteville again. Cane Ridge, you think they could have scheduled that a little better and rode together. Cane Ridge at Overton. Lawrence County, Tennessee at home against Murfreesboro Central. Blackman's at Riverdale. Laverne is at Stewart's Creek at 6. At 6:30, Smyrna welcomes Lebanon. At 7 tonight, Siegel's at Rockville, and I guess that doubleheader, Fayetteville at Eagleville at 7:30.
There we go. Boys soccer at 5 o'clock today. Brentwood Academy travels to Christ Presbyterian Academy. Also at 5, Donaldson Christian is at Ezel Harding. Friendship Christian goes to Mount Juliet Christian. Nashville Christian hosts Clarksville Academy. Knowledge Academies is at Springfield. At 5:30, Loretto travels to Decatur County Riverside. That sounds fun. Lakeway Christian plays Columbia Academy. Murfreesboro Central is at Lakeway Christian and Columbia Academy play at 6. Also at 6, Murfreesboro Central plays at Giles County. Montgomery Central is at East Robertson. Smyrna hosting Gallatin. Middle Tennessee Christian goes to University School of Nashville. At 6:30, Dixon County is at Clarksville Northwest. Kirkwood is at Creekwood. McGavock hosting Clarksville Northeast. Clarksville is at Green Hill. Beach goes to Hendersonville. Clarksville Green Hill is at 7. Beach Hendersonville is at 7. Also at 7, Cookville is at Stewart's Creek, and Greenbrier goes to White House Heritage. On the ice, the St. Louis Blues come to Bridgestone Arena for a 7 o'clock puck drop against the Preds. That can be seen on ESPN Plus and on Hulu. And at First Horizon Park, the series between the host Nashville Sounds and St. Paul continues. That's a 6:35 first pitch, and that is your rundown. Top story today is brought to you, as always, by Piggly Wiggly and Neely's Mill in Columbia. Stop by to check out their delicious daily deli lunch items, as well as their hand-cut meats, and everything is cost plus 10% at the cash register. So again, our top story sponsor, Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill, Columbia. The Tennessee Sports Writers Association's weekly Players Awards go to the following. Wait a minute. That's last week's. This is the Mondayest Wednesday, Chris. Or Thursday even. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
It's a Monday on Wednesday that it's not even Wednesday.
Then it's not even Wednesday. Yeah. I guess because we missed that show on Tuesday, I'm still thinking. Yeah. Dylan Dreiling of the University of Tennessee hit .545, 6 hits and 11 at bats. 5 of those for extra bases with 3 doubles and a pair of home runs. Also drove in 7 runs.
2,000? 5 extra base hits. I mean, that is a massive slugging percentage.
Yeah, I don't have that in front of me, and I don't have the bandwidth to figure it out.
The formula,
point. Yeah. I know the formula. I just can't deal with it right now. Vanderbilt Junior Bryce Cunningham is the TSWA's pitcher of the week after a career-high 12 strikeouts Friday night in their win over Missouri. 1 hit, 7 scoreless innings, picked up his 4th victory of the year. In softball, Chattanooga shortstop Kaylee Snell from Shelbyville hit .900 in a sweep of East Tennessee State. Drove in 3 runs, scored 6, stole 4 bases. In the circle, Union pitcher Laney Baker threw a complete game shutout as the Bulldogs defeated Henderson State 3-0 for her 8th win of the year. 7 strikeouts, 1 hit. Retired the first 16 batters she faced. So, again, congratulations to UT's Dylan Dreiling, Vanderbilt's Bryce Cunningham, your baseball player and pitcher of the week, and to Chattanooga's Kaylee Snell and Union's Laney Baker, your softball player and pitcher of the week from the Tennessee Sports Writers Association. Wow. Now, there's another Wilkins coming to Middle Tennessee.
I mean, at this point, bring them
Might
all.
as well bring them all. Bring them all. I'm sure someone could find a spot for all of them. John Wilkins, most recently of McKenzie, where he coached both boys and girls basketball, has been named the new girls coach at Brentwood, replacing Marcel Williams, who resigned at the end of the year. So he joins his brother Mark in Williamson County. Mark Wilkins, the boys basketball coach at Independence, who just delivered the Eagles' first boys basketball state championship a couple of weeks ago in his 3rd season. So,
well, I mean, he coached both in McKenzie. There's 2 openings at Brentwood.
No, there is not 2 openings actually. They
hired a coach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they elevated Troy Crane as the boys coach almost immediately. So yeah,
went from Troy B to Troy C. If
there
Troy D is next,
there you go. Yeah. I don't know of any Troy D's off the top, but I mean, if I were one, I would probably try to get
that job,
get in good with somebody over at Brentwood. Yeah, and also, as long as we're talking about coaching changes, former Rossview, Whites Creek, and Republic football coach Ron Lambert, who was also defensive coordinator at Tennessee State at one time, most recently was on the staff at Davidson Academy, has been named the new football coach at Overton. He replaces Arcente Broom, who replaced Devin Arnold at Antioch a few weeks ago. So I think that catches us up on high school coaching changes that we are aware of at this time. College, different deal. We'll get into that later in the show. Let's go ahead and take a break because I need one. And when we come back, we'll be joined by SIEGEL baseball coach Craig Revis here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Stay with us. Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome back to the Throwback Thursday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. I'm Maurice Patton. That's Chris Yao. Hopefully, we have ironed out whatever kinks there were in that first segment. Yeah. What do you think?
We're good. We're back. We're ready to go.
Okay. All right. Good. Just in time for our next guest. Well, for our first guest. Siegel baseball coach Craig REAVIS joins us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports Today. Coach REAVIS.
Yes, Maurice, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing okay.
Great. Appreciate you taking some time with us, especially considering you have a ball game across town here in a couple of hours. The rematch with Riverdale following yesterday's 5-0 loss. Not that I want to remind you of it, but that loss dropping you all to 15-7 on the season. As I was, getting prepared to have you on as a guest, I'm impressed with the 15 wins, Craig, but I'm more impressed with the 22 games. How have you managed that many games so far in a season where the weather has not been kind?
Yeah, well, there's a couple reasons. First, the TSSAA this fall added a week to our season. We were set to start, I believe, March 11th, and they bumped the start of the season up a week to March 4th. And the way the schedule works is if you play in a tournament, it only counts as 3 games. So we had a tournament that first week that we were able to extend to cover 2 weeks. So we actually played 11 games in the Grand Slam tournament that Blackman puts on. And, of course, we have turf down now, too. So we were able to avoid some of the weather. The rain doesn't bother us as much. And we were able to I think we got all 11 of those games in. And then we've also played the Riverdale. They put on the Warrior Classic every year. We got 5 games in it, and then we've thrown in a district series with Oakland last week, as well as a doubleheader with Middle Tennessee Christian. So we've gotten a lot in the first few weeks of the season for sure.
And I guess the good thing about getting a lot in the first few weeks of the season like that is you can see a lot of people, and it doesn't really cost you.
Yes, and it's sort of, if you look at our record, we started out 1-4. That first week, we were moving people around, seeing what all we had, and the second week we sort of started seeing some guys separate themselves and settled into, our 9 or 10 guys that we were playing, and started playing better, and then we won like 10 in a row, and then of course, Riverdale got us last night. We lost one last week to a good team out of Indiana. So we're trying to lick our wounds and get ourselves back ready to go this evening.
Coach, baseball in Rutherford County is probably as good as anywhere in the state as far as the county is concerned. How do you guys, at Siegel particularly, you guys are a baseball powerhouse, but how is it that so much talent, it seems to congregate right there in Murfreesboro?
Well, I think part of it is, the middle school programs now. All of us are pretty lucky to have a pretty solid middle school team or program underneath us. And then, just the stuff the kids do in the summer, and, having such successful teams. You go all the way back to when Oakland won it back to back, that people start expecting, to see good players come out of Murfreesboro, and people have sort of, they've done what they've had to do to become good players. And, it's all over the county. If you look right now, there's good players at all these schools in the county.
Craig's being a little modest, Chris, because there's a coaching level across the board in Rutherford County that does not exist in a lot of counties across Tennessee either.
I would agree with that we absolutely, every night out, the team's going to be prepared. They're not going to make silly mistakes. You typically have to go beat them and not just, wait around for them to mess something up. But yeah, you have to show up and play.
Craig, obviously you come from a stellar playing background, both at Tullahoma, where you overcame the coaching of your father, Jackie, and at Middle Tennessee State. How did your playing career, how has your playing career kind of influenced your coaching?
Well, of course, with my dad being a coach at Motlow when I was young, I was just around good baseball from the time I could walk, I'm sure. That's all I remember is being around, baseball. And of course, Dad's a Hall of Famer here in Tennessee, and taught me the basic fundamentals growing up. And then I got to play at Tullahoma for a high school coach that's in the Hall of Fame here in Tennessee, that had a tradition of winning. We won a state championship there, playing another state championship. So sort of learn how to win there. And then I get lucky enough to go to college and play for Coach Peterson, another Hall of Famer here in Tennessee. And that's where, I really, learned the game and more about practicing. And I still do a lot of the things that we learned at MTSU, or how he set up his practice. I still do that. A lot of my practice is just straight from what he did. So I've been blessed to be around great baseball coaches my whole life, and and able to learn and just see the way things are done the right way.
Craig REAVIS, baseball coach at Siegel, joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia. Craig, you say that you kind of move some folks around early in this season, this 22 game season to this point, and you started to kind of settle some folks in. Who are you seeing? What are you seeing that you like right now out of this team?
Well, our sort of everything revolves around Lane Akers, who's a MTSU signee. He catches some, like in a 3-game series in our district series, he'll catch one game, he'll play left field one game, he'll play second base one game. And he's leading the team in hitting. He's hitting over 400. He's a great leader. He sort of motivates the guys. But it sort of all starts with him getting going. And then from there, we've got 3 good arms that we feel like we can put out there in district series, along with a couple guys. Colton Barron took a loss last night, but he has been solid all year, and he didn't pitch poorly last night. We had a little bit of bad luck, and Riverdale took advantage of a couple of bad pitches. And then we've got senior Jack Sandy, who pitched strong last year and has been good for us this year. We've had to sort of switch around. We've had Will Horn was going to be our number 3, and he's had some shoulder issues. So another senior, Dylan Rogers, has stepped into that 3rd starting spot, who's been our reliever, kind of our top reliever the last few years. And then Gabe Hamrick, a senior, and then Trey Baker, a sophomore, are sort of our relief guys that we're using now in district. And, we've had good pitching. We've got some good leadership, and we've figured out how to claw out some runs for the most part. And that's sort of how we've got things rolling and figured things out.
Coach, as district play gets going, and you guys, the way that Tennessee does its district play is very unique, because I love the back-to-back games that you're forced to have depth at the pitching, in pitching. And so how does that impact the way that you go about setting up your week? I mean, I know and then you got you've got Independence. Are you playing Independence on Friday?
Well, we had to bump them because of the rain out on Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Yeah, Riverdale.
We're just got the 3 with Riverdale this week, which 3 games is a very light week for us.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how do you kind of put that, with those tough out of district games as far as your pitching is concerned?
Well, typically for us, if you want to have a good record where you're going to get 25 wins or so, you've got to have outside of your 5 guys that you use in the district, you've got to have 2 or 3 decent arms. And where we sort of do, we've got a freshman that we've started 2 or 3 times that has given us a couple wins. We've got another big sophomore, Lawson Lee, who's 6'9", those low 80s, that's come in and given us some innings in non-district. Cooper Underwood's a little soft throwing righty that comes in and keeps us in game. So in order to run your record up and to have success in those games, you just got to have a really deep staff, because you got to have at least 5 arms for a district series. Sometimes that's 6. If you can get somebody to throw a complete game, you're sort of one up on somebody. So, that's really the only way to do it. If you don't have those 4, 5, and 6 starters, then you're going to take some lumps on the weekends.
Craig, I want to drop back for a second. I want to talk a little bit more about this Lane Akers for a couple of reasons. One, he's going to MTSU, but 2, you said in a 3-game series, he would catch a game, he would play left field in a game, and he would play second base in a game. That spells versatility to me. Is that the attraction to him from a recruiting standpoint, or do you think he'll settle in somewhere on the next level, or how does all that work?
I don't know what MTSU really has in plan for him, but what is for him, when you can play basically anywhere on the field, that gives MTSU options. They don't have to put him in at one place or look. If you're hitting, that's how it's going to be in college. If you're hitting, they're going to find a way to play in. And he's not pigeonholed to one position. So if he gets to swinging the bat up there the way he's swinging it for us, they'll find somewhere to play. And he plays it at high level. He hadn't really worked at outfield any. We sort of had a necessity to throw him out there, and then he's one of our top outfielders now. He's got great hands when we got to slide him on the infield. Does everything, does a great job behind the plate. So places like MTSU need guys like that can play anywhere, and just sort of slip him in, and it's gonna work out well for him when he gets there, I do believe.
Yeah, what would you feel like his best position is, or what does he feel like his best position is?
I'm not sure. He's as good an outfielder as we've got. I don't know if college level that could be his best position, but he's such a hard worker too that I think he could play any of them in college. If they wanted him to play a game right now today, I would say put him in the outfield, and he could probably play right now. Put him behind the plate in a college game, he's gonna be fine. He's probably still can go a little bit of ways there, but that's only because it's such a hard position, and you get into college and you got guys throwing mid-90s and breaking things off the table and everything else. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they have in plan for him.
Great. Siegel baseball coach Craig REAVIS joining us here on Coach's Corner on Main Street Sports today. Craig, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight. You've got Riverdale back at your place tomorrow, I guess. So sure you guys will bounce back. Look forward to following you all and maybe catching back up with you here as the season progresses.
Appreciate it, Maurice.
All right.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right. Before we get out of this segment here, we probably need to give out some hardware, Chris. Our Custom Stone Handlers Team of the Week, the Columbia Academy Bulldogs, last week went down to Gulf Shores and picked up 4 victories, and then stayed hot this week with a pair of wins over BGA to improve to 14-1. So they were 4 for 4. Got rained out another one, I think, down in Gulf Shores. But the Bulldogs are our Custom Stone Handlers In-to-Win Life Team of the Week. And our TOA Columbia Player of the Week is Santa Fe Junior Macon Atkinson, who in his only start on the mound last week struck out 13 over 5 2/3 innings, gave up just 2 hits. Also had a pair of hits, stole 2 bases in Santa Fe's eventual 5-2 loss to Zion Christian. So Macon Atkinson is our TOA Columbia Athlete of the Week. Congratulations to him and to the Bulldogs as well. When we come back, a little Braves chatter, a little MLB chatter. The Braves off again today. We'll talk about it when we come back to the Lee Company studios after this.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers, putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
April 4th, 1974, a certain sports talk show host sat in Ms. Vaden's fourth grade classroom and watched as Babe Ruth's record of 714 home runs was tied by Henry Aaron in the Braves' season opening 7-6 11-inning loss at Cincinnati. Aaron got it out of the way early, hitting a 3-run shot off Jack Billingham in the top of the first, but the Atlanta bullpen couldn't hold a 4-run lead. Aaron set out the following game, but was forced by the commissioner's office to play in the series finale and went 0 for 3. Setting up Mondays this day in Braves history, by the way.
Secondary this day in Braves history, Mo.
Hmm?
It was today in 1997. The first game at Turner Field was played.
That's unfortunate. They should have pushed that back a day.
I think that was probably a really great day to have that. I mean, think about that. And
Yeah, but it's always going to be secondary.
Well, sure, but it is interesting that
it certainly is
that they kind of probably I wasn't there, but I'm sure that they somehow honored that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
at the grand opening of the TED. So.
The TED. Here's what's amazing. That was in 1997. Here we sit 27 years later, and
the exact same
another stadium.
No, I was going to say the exact same amount of time that it was between those two, but I guess there's an extra year.
Yeah,
it was 23 years between those two.
Yes, yeah. It's just amazing that in 27 years you are, I don't know, maybe 27 years is about the lifespan of a stadium.
I mean, probably. I just think that everything in the 90s was kind of, and I say this, and this is completely, as I, wear my Jonathan from Property Brothers shirt today. even like homes built in the 90s, it felt like everything built in the 90s was built to throw away.
Hmm.
And it was kind of all disposable. And I don't know what for or why or how,
Right.
but almost everything that we had in the 90s was just disposable. And so, maybe because I mean, think about it. All those
Including
stadiums,
stadiums, I
well, I
guess.
mean, all
Yeah.
the stadiums that were built in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, they lasted way longer than anything built in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Even the Astrodome,
Yeah.
So
Explain that, with
it,
all of the advances of modern technology.
right. It
And
doesn't.
yet,
I mean, it's
Wrigley Field outlasts
yeah,
Turner Field.
Nissan Stadium.
Right.
I mean, it's nearly dilapidated at this point. Falling down.
Apparently, yeah.
I mean,
Depending on who you ask, anyway. Yeah.
it's just wild. But anyway, that's a sidebar.
That is a sidebar. We digress as we tend to from time to time.
Got told today during lunch why I couldn't find a UT hat instead of this Alabama hat I'm wearing.
You too, huh? I'm glad to hear it happens to somebody else.
Yeah. I was like, ma'am, you would not ever catch me with that.
Well, that's a longer conversation than I would have had. But I guarantee you, when I take my Braves cap on this cruise in a couple of weeks,
Roll Tide.
I will get at least one. Roll Tide. Yeah.
Oh, so frustrating.
You know who else has got to be frustrated? Max Fried.
He's pitched less than one inning this year and can't get back to the
Can't get
ball.
on the mound. Can't get on the mound.
He's like, can I stop thinking about that one start, please?
And you use that term start. I'll tell you what, I hope Max Fried does not catch that home plate umpire in Philly in a dark alley.
I will tell you this. If I'm Max, I'm probably okay with not having to have pitched in that weather. Because there's some videos out there, of fans, Braves fans who were in Chicago, videoing Acuna, and he's on deck, and he's like, "I can't play in this." So
I'm from Venezuela, dog. What are you doing?
Any thoughts? Any team north of maybe Tennessee had of signing Ronald Acuna Jr.? You can say that today.
Done. And it probably doesn't bode well for the Mets and Luis Angel.
Yeah.
Acuna either.
So
First chance he gets, he's going to be out of there, you would think. But yeah, Fried was online to start tomorrow's opener because Strider was supposed to pitch the series finale in Chicago yesterday. The series finale wasn't played. Strider gets bumped back to Friday. Fried, who didn't get to pitch the season opener, doesn't get to pitch the home opener either. He's got to wait till Saturday. Poor Max.
That's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. That's tough in what could be Max's final year as a Brave.
Will likely be Max's final year as a Brave.
Yeah. I want to mention two things. One, the Nashville Sounds series with visiting St. Paul was evened at a game apiece with the Saints' 6-5 win last night at First Horizon Park. That series will continue through Sunday. And tomorrow we will pick up our weekly Nashville Sounds segment. On Fridays, we will visit with Isaac Collins of the Sounds. So be sure and check in, particularly for our second segment around 2:20 or so tomorrow for that. But I wanted to clear the decks for
and Sunday's first pitch, of course.
Oh, is that you?
That's me.
Is that you, Sunday? What time is that?
On Sunday. 2, I guess it's a 2:05. So get there a little earlier.
Be sure and get there early to see if Chris's first pitch. We'll see what Chris's first pitch does there. We'll leave it at that.
It's
but
better than last year. That'd be ideal.
mine got to the plate last year, so I'm retiring.
I hear you.
The Oakland A's through
Ish.
October. It was
Oakland-ish
obviously a
A's.
question of where they were going to be between Oakland and Las Vegas in 2028. Apparently, that question has been answered. Sutter Health Park, as Yao is modeling there,
As can be seen behind me.
Sutter Health Park in Sacramento, California, will host the Athletics from 2025 to 2027, and in anticipation of their move to Las Vegas. So the park opened in 2000, seats around 14,000, and apparently the River Cats, the primary tenant for Sutter Health Park, will continue to play there as well as the AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. So Sutter Health Park is going to get the Greer Stadium treatment from back in the early 90s when you had both the Sounds and the Express in here.
Yeah.
And basically you had ball every night in Nashville. Just go to the park. Somebody will be there. The ballpark will host 156 games, 81 major league games, 75 minor league games between late March and early October. That staff is going to
the grounds crew
they will
is going to hate people.
They're going to hate people. They're going to hate life. Leave those folks alone, or mess with them at your own risk.
Matt George of ABC 10 in Sacramento, KXTV, reports John Fisher's press conference today, saying he called Sutter Health Park, quote, the most intimate park in Major League Baseball. He can't wait to watch MLB's top stars like Aaron Judge hit home runs here. Well, we already
expressing
knew
a lot of confidence in his pitching staff, I guess.
Well, we already knew that he wasn't, going to be wanting to watch his players hit home runs, because Esteury Ruiz, who started the season with a .429 batting average and 1.232 OPS, was sent to AAA because, if you keep him around, you might win a game. So let's not do that.
They sent down a guy hitting .429
with a 1.2 OPS. I'm telling you, they were scared they were going to win a game.
Got to be really glad Tony Kemp got out of there.
It's funny because, I guess it was Wes Rucker had tweeted that the commissioner needed to step in and stop this and this, that, and the other. Listen, there are fewer than 6,000 people coming to the 63,000 seat stadium in Oakland. There's no way they're going to tell them to not play at a smaller venue.
Yeah. I mean, 6,000 looks a lot better in 14,000 seats than it does in.
Well, there's only 10,000 seats. There's 4,000 general admission in the berm out here.
Oh, well, that's never going to be an issue.
Never. So, I mean, this is it's just wild, man. This is going to be a mell of a hess.
What's crazy to me is the city of Oakland offered an olive branch to Fisher and the Athletics ownership. They offered them a 5-year extension on the lease at the Oakland Coliseum, which would keep them from having to move. Seems simple enough to me, but apparently this guy is going to take every opportunity to antagonize his now former fan base. Say, no, we're out. And apparently they are just going to be the A's. The A's do not intend to change their name to reflect their Sacramento residency. Instead, they'll be known by simply their nickname, according to Evan Drellich of The Athletic.
Well, that's probably makes sense. I mean, they won't be Sacramento, but they're not going to be Oakland either. Just going to be the Athletics.
Just the Athletics. That's it.
I kind of don't hate that. I mean, it's unique for sure.
This whole situation is unique. That's probably the best way to describe
Can
it.
it be the California Athletics?
I wonder if the Angels still have
California
copyright on that. Yeah.
I mean, that would make the most sense if they were going
or the NorCal Athletics, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Bay Area Athletics.
Well, I don't know if Sacramento qualifies.
Sacramento's not
for
running
that.
the Bay anymore. Yeah.
No,
that's not going to work out. Yeah, I mean,
this is wild, and I still don't think it's over. So we need to take a break because we need to get to Throwback Thursday, which is which is our Wednesday segment from last week with Nashville Sounds manager Rick Sweets. So come back on the other side of this break to Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA of Columbia.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Welcome back to the wild and wacky edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, hour number 2, as we come to you live from First Horizon Park here on Junior Gilliam Way in Nashville. Wade Neely, Maurice Patton, and we are joined by as we promised, the Nashville Sound's all-time managerial wins leader, Rick Sweet.
Wild and wacky.
It's wild and wacky, and that's exactly why we got you in here, man. No, welcome back.
Nice to be back. Believe me, I just got done having a meeting with my team, and I told them it's been my favorite stop in my career, and what a great place and how lucky they are to be here in Nashville.
You know, over the past few years, we've had a number of people kind of say, if you can't be in the majors, this may be the best place to be.
Did you hear my meeting? You were over there. I know you were. Absolutely. That's exactly the words I used. We all want to be in the big leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If you're not in the big leagues, and right now we're not, there is no better place. Yeah, I think you said might. I said there is no better place
well,
to
see,
be.
you've been to those places. I've not necessarily.
Okay,
so you can speak from experience.
Won't argue with you on that then.
Yeah,
All right.
but no, you've been there. So what is it about Nashville as a AAA city that separates them from anybody that might think they can compete?
Well, see, now the hard part's trying to figure out which part of it's first. Is it the fans? Is it the city? Is it the facility? I mean, all those things. It's the best facility in baseball. And if you want to go right back to it, okay, it's one of the top 3 in all of minor league baseball. It's my favorite, but that's because I'm here. But then if you throw that out the window, it's still one of the top 3, which everybody agrees on. The fans are tremendous. You know, even when we don't have a huge number of people in the stands, the backing is still, still tremendous. And you've got the bandbox over here. That's that's a happening place.
Does that make you a little
Nashville.
jealous when you're in the dugout and you see
I
those
hear
folks
all
out
the
there?
stories. My right fielder comes in. You ought to see what's going on out there now. You ought to see what they're talking about. It's hilarious. The city is fantastic. You've got Broadway, but the city is fantastic. There's places I've been here now. This is my 5th year, but it's just a great place to be all the way around. So it's the fans, it's the experience, it's the city itself. Just fantastic place to be, to experience this game of baseball that we all love so much.
Absolutely. And Rick, as you kind of get ready to dive into this new season, I guess just immediately what kind of jumps out to, or what I wanted to ask you is, what kind of gets you excited about this season in particular? It seems like this time of the year, everybody's excited about baseball, but what really kind of gets your juices going about this year's team?
Well, I think this year's team is a very good combination. A couple of years ago, I had a younger team. Last year, I had a little older team. This is a great mixture of some youth and some veterans. I think for us as an organization, we're ranked one of the top minor leagues in all of baseball. We're winning accolades as one of the top defensive organizations in all of baseball, which is a relatively new type thing going on. But we've, we have fun. We've got, it starts at the top. It starts, we lose our big league manager, and the guy that steps in obviously was his bench coach and number one confidant, but he steps in, and we just had a great spring training. We're coming out of a great spring training, and I think for them it'll carry over. I know for us it definitely will carry over.
And you guys, you kind of have that wild enthusiasm to start the year. I guess I'm curious for you, having been in the bigs, obviously, for a great stretch, and then also obviously having such success here in Nashville. How do you balance that juggling act between developing the players to move on to the next level while also still trying to keep them here and win as many games as you can?
Well, I believe, and I've always believed, it's not always been that way. You develop winners. Winning is an attitude. You don't just go out and say, okay, well, we're going to win tonight. That's not how this game works, and it doesn't work that way in the big leagues. You develop winners. You start the first day of spring training. You start preparing, and that's what I do. I start preparing guys I'm pretty sure I'm going to have, and preparing them for what it's going to be, how great Nashville is. The weather's going to be great. Broadway's a great place, although I haven't been there in 3 years. I firmly believe you develop winners, and that's how you don't separate the two. You put the two together. It's a marriage, and development is the first word, But if you're just developing and you're not winning, you're not getting it done. You're not doing what they need to do. They need to learn how to be successful, how to win.
You've mentioned Nashville a couple of times, obviously with the fan support and then just the city in general. I guess I'm curious. It's got to be a real tough sell when you got a guy on the phone letting him know that he's got to come play for the Sounds and be in Nashville, right? I'm sure that's just a devastating news for the guys that are, especially the ones coming up.
Yes and no, but it's made a lot easier because if you got to be in AAA, this is the place to be. Secondly, we as an organization do a great job of moving people up and down. Now, some people, you're losing your best player all the time. Yes, I am. But I'm losing my best player, and then the other guy's, okay, I want to take that spot. I want to be the best player. And so I motivate him that way. The guy coming down, get him down here, say, hey, we got a plan. We got a plan for how to get you back to the big leagues. And we encourage that. So we keep the focus on the big leagues, but while we're focusing on that, we're winning here too.
Nashville Sounds manager Rick Sweet joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by TOA Columbia. Rick, obviously, you think you know who you've got. You mentioned you just had a meeting with your team. The Milwaukee Brewers have not announced their opening day roster yet. They will do so, I guess, sometime tomorrow. Not sure who they open against. Should know, don't know. I guess your opening day roster will be determined to some degree,
correct,
by who they keep before you guys go to Toledo to open the season on Friday. But that said, who are some guys that you are excited over possibly having?
Yeah, you explained that well. You're on top of your game.
In another life, I covered a lot of minor league baseball in another stadium across town.
Well, let me tell you, the big league club's playing the Mets, and they already been rained out tomorrow. So
in New York,
yeah.
So there's rain in the Northeast because the Braves and Phillies have been rained out in Philadelphia as well.
Yep. So they're rained out already. That being said, they have to have their roster done today. I believe the rain won't change that.
Okay.
For us, that's going to change a couple of spots, but we have the openings. We're ready. Just, they make their decision. I don't care what they make. I'll take whatever they want to send down because they're quality players. A couple of my guys, Jefferson Carroll, my catcher, is 19 or 20. I don't know if he's 20 yet, is one of the top players in the country. He's in the top 100. He's in the top 50 of all minor league players in the country. We had Cheerio last year. We got Caro this year. We didn't get to see much of Cheerio last year.
Didn't get to see much of Cheerio. Yeah,
$100 million will do that for you.
Yeah.
But that being said, Caro is the same type of player. Very, very good player. He's going to be fun to watch behind the plate.
Now, you don't have any special affection for Caro being a former catcher yourself, right?
It's our own little fraternity. It's there's a lot of love with our fraternity amongst ourselves. So absolutely. He's going to be fun. We've got Black back. I think this kid's going to be a really, really good player. I'm sure he'll be in the big leagues at some point this year. He had a great spring. We've got a kid that we brought in, 6-year free agent, Dunn, who has only played as high as AA and shocked us all. He crushed the ball. Now, he's one of those guys still waiting in spring, still waiting up there with the big league club. He originally was told he was probably going to be with us, but now they've already had an injury up there.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're waiting to see what decision they make and where we'll go with that. Joey Weimer is back. We had him 2 years ago. He spent 90% of the year in the big leagues last year.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best defensive center fielders in all of baseball.
You ain't got to tell me because he made a catch when I went down to Truist that about broke my heart.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not that sorry.
Yeah, no, we really weren't. I mean, we still wound up sweeping the series. So, I mean, it was all good. But yeah,
drive that knife in. Go ahead.
But it's nice to go. It's nice to be able to see those guys go and be successful at the top level like that.
Well, he was very successful. He saved us last year because Frelick was hurt. Mitchell was hurt. He turned out to be one of the best, if not the best, center fielder in all of baseball. He still has that in his hip pocket. We got to get his offense straightened out. And Al LaBeouf, my hitting guy here, had a great relationship with him. We'll get that figured out. In fact, he's texting me as we speak. Buffy is, where are you? So, but back to Weimer, he's going to be fun to watch. And I think offensively, his talent offensively is as good as his defense. He's a 40-40 guy potentially at the big league level. That's how good a player he is.
Talk to me for a second, Rick. I was reading some Brewer stuff as we got ready to have you on. Sal Frelick is seeing some time at third base.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We really, our third base spot in the big leagues is that one spot that's really open. And being a left-handed hitter, and with our outfield, with the people, the number of people we have in the outfield,
when everybody's healthy.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
He has the ability. He has played the infield before. We put him there, and he looked fine. He'll probably get some time at third base this year, and we'll see how he does.
Where do you expect Tyler Black to play more, first, third? Yes.
50-50. And that's a great question. I think, although with our new first baseman in the big leagues, he can flat out hit, maybe a little more to third base.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you still want to have that versatility. We started teaching him first base last year. We don't want to take that away.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned versatility, and with the universal DH, there's not a whole lot of difference between the National League game and the American League game anymore, with interleague and everything else. Is that versatility any more important for a National League player per se?
It's just as important for everybody now, but you don't see that many bona fide only DHs. Most of the teams use that DH as their off day, as to give a guy a break, and they have that versatile player to play in that spot. If we want to give Adames a day off at shortstop, bang, he becomes he becomes the DH. It's like a day off. We kick Terang over. We put Ortiz there. We have versatility. We want to put all of our outfielders in the game when Frelick goes third base. Now, bang, we got all our left-handers in the lineup. We got Mitchell and Yelich. Is that the guy's name in left?
Yeah, yeah.
That guy.
We've got all these. So the versatility is just as important, but it's the same in both leagues now.
Rick, as we sit here, you guys getting ready to get cranked up, going to Toledo, and I guess I'm curious. I'm always fascinated by minor league baseball, especially at the AAA level. At what point do you kind of know the real makeup of your team with so many moves kind of coming and going, or is that kind of just always a moving target in your mind?
It's always a moving target because today's the first day we've been together as a team. In fact, we're not even together. We still got guys with the major league club. Navarreto's not in town yet. He's still in Arizona. We got another guy still in Arizona. So we're not even together yet. I've got guys that'll fly into Toledo from New York and from Arizona. So at AAA, it's always a moving target because that's just part of the game. That's just keeping it all nice and smooth and cohesive. We use do you know what the WhatsApp is? It's all right. We use WhatsApp. I've got a team WhatsApp.
Okay.
And that's what I'm getting all my stuff on. What's going on? The WhatsApp is how we communicate. So when my guys aren't here, I don't have to call anybody. I just put something on the WhatsApp and everybody gets it. So it's our lifeblood.
Technology is a beautiful thing, isn't it?
For us old people, man, we got. That's why I ask a stupid question.
Hey, speaking of interesting questions, Rick, I got to ask you this. Doing a little research.
How far did you dig?
Well, you tell me. Gonzaga graduate.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Have you been keeping up with the Zags? I got to ask you. I'm contractually obligated to ask you a March Madness question. They rolled Kansas over the weekend, partner.
No, they kicked Kansas's butt. They didn't roll them. They kicked their butt.
As predicted by off-camera Chris Yao.
One of those. He's old. I see him beating his chest over there.
He's
he did call his shot.
He did actually call his shot.
I don't have Kansas. My son went to Kansas, so I'm partial. But I'm a Zag, man. It's the Zag. The girls are playing good too.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah. Pretty impressive. as a again, I did cover some minor league ball, just the logistics like you talk about, guys flying in from Arizona to Toledo, guys coming down from New York to Toledo. I guess you just kind of get there and see who you're rolling with and go from there.
I got a lineup, but it's always in pencil with a big eraser on it. So, and the guys know that too. I post the lineup the night before, and it can change.
Subject to change without prior notice.
Without a doubt.
You talked about sticks with Caro and with Black. What's the mound looking like for you?
McHenry and Gasser are both back. Rodriguez was our along with Gasser was the co-pitcher of the year in the organization. That's 3 of our starters right there. And then our bullpen arms, to be honest with you, there's 3 or 4 of them. I haven't seen them throw yet. They've been with the Major League Club the whole time. I've maybe seen them 1 or 2 innings, but all that tells me is they got good arms because we're keeping them. So we've got the thing you worry about the most is starters, and we've got 2 guys that started for us a lot last year and a 3rd guy that came up the end of the year and pitched very well for us. So our bullpen is going to be good. It's not as deep as it was because we've already lost a guy or 2. But we've got that coverage down in AA to when we need to go there, we can.
Rick, you've been in this position before. You've seen guys in this position before. You just mentioned Robert Gasser was the co-International League Pitcher of the Year last year. What do you say to that guy, just from a standpoint of what else can he do here?
Oh, he's got a lot more to do. There is more to do. I had him 2 years ago, and I don't know his numbers, but they weren't. Okay. And then the jump from 2 years ago, from 2022 to 23, he was the man. He was dominant, and his spring training was very good. So 23 to 24, you just keep getting better, more experience. He's a younger guy. He's definitely in their mix up there. I haven't seen him. He's been with the Major League Club the whole time. So, we're anticipating he'll be a guy that be that up and down guy and go up when they need a guy like that. And you're right. Some guys need to be talked to. Some guys need to be helped along with that. And experience tells me who needs it and who doesn't. But some of them understand they're part of the mix. They got to keep doing it here so they're ready to go up there.
You'll recognize his name. Former Nashville Sounds pitching coach Darrell Knowles spoke with him one time about a kid going up. And what do you tell those guys when they're going up, particularly for the first time? And he said, keep doing what you were doing here. What you were doing here is good enough.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't necessarily believe that.
Well, they don't believe it, but when you look at somebody like Knowles who's been there, it helps. It helps. Yeah, that's exactly what you tell them. And sometimes they go up and they don't, and they wind up coming back down. The next time they go up, they're ready. The next time you're right. Sometimes they have to prove it to themselves, but sometimes they'll go up and say, okay, this is all I have to do. And that's all in the individual. You don't know until it happens how they're going to react to it. But what he told him is a fact. That it's got you there. You're going to the big leagues because what you're doing works. Don't change it.
There you go.
Don't think you got to get better.
Yeah, and a lot of guys. Well, it's the majors. I got to do something more, right?
Yeah, that's what you think. But you're right.
Yeah. Rick Sweet, he sent a few guys up. He's been up. Longtime major league catcher, and he's excited about Hefferson. Caro. Hefferson with an H. Why? Jefferson. Caro. There we go. Yeah. Colin providing us with the pronunciation guide here. There we go. Jefferson. Caro. See? Yeah. Colin off air. Appreciate you, man. Rick Sweet, Nashville Sounds manager. Appreciate you.
Always a pleasure talking to you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Coach.
Whether you're an athlete or a weekend warrior, when it comes to your performance, don't settle for anything less than excellence. We're proud to announce that Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic is now Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, where we are redefining sports medicine and orthopedics. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance's team of expert sports medicine physicians understands the unique demands of your body. TOA Columbia specializes in personalized orthopedic care, offering state-of-the-art treatments for everything from sports injuries to joint replacements. Learn more at toacolumbia.com.
Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Welcome to Protein Snack Shop, your destination for healthy and delicious low-carb snacks. Our specialty lies in providing protein-packed desserts that are perfect for those following a keto diet. Our products are made with high-quality ingredients, ensuring that you can satisfy your cravings without compromising your health goals. From a variety of flavors and options to choose from, you can enjoy guilt-free snacking while staying on track with your fitness journey. Don't miss out on our limited time offer. Discover Protein Snack Shop today.
We thrive under the lights. A city of performers. Putting on one heck of a show. Headlining night after night. Welcome to Smashville.
Throwback Thursday continues here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by the Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance of Columbia, as we come to you from the Lee Company studios of Sutter Health Field and my house. Maurice Patton, Chris Yao, really enjoyed that Rick Sweet segment. He's always so good when we get a chance to sit down with him for a little bit, so that's always fun. But we now bring you Go Vols 24/7 writer Maria Cornelius. Maria, are you joining us by audio only?
No, the video should be on. Let me.
Okay.
It says stop mic cam. No, it said I entered with video. Stop cam.
That's, oh well.
It's no big deal.
Maria, you're joining us by audio only, but we appreciate you taking some time.
I have it saying start cam and it's on. So
who knows?
You know, given the day that we've had to this point, we're
this
glad
is
to have you on at all. So, yeah, Maria, Monday.
Sorry about that.
No. I'm trust me. I'm sure it's not you. Monday, it was announced that Kelly Harper would not be returning for a sixth season as head coach of the Tennessee women's basketball team. Over the last few days, I'm sure that there's any number of. Oh, there we are.
Yeah, the cat's here. The cat helped it.
There we go.
Always good when you can get a
Oh,
little
yeah,
sidekick.
yeah. The cat is even better. That's fantastic. Yeah. A little cat expertise never hurts on this show. In the days since Kelly's dismissal has been announced, I'm sure there's any number of names that have been mentioned. Which ones jump out at you as serious candidates at this point?
That is the most interesting question, and the answer is get a dartboard right now. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the media list; they are all over the place.
I've seen some media lists.
I mean, you knew they were going to shoot for the top people. Now, if you're shooting for top people, you're talking about national title coaches, Final Four coaches, and I mean that's a short list. Then you have a lot of Power Five coaches with recent success, Elite Eights, conference championships, that kind of thing, and then you would always have a third plan of mid majors on an upward trajectory. So I wish I could give you a plausible name. I mean, just pick a name. It's out there. And credit to Tennessee for doing these things in with a shroud of secrecy. I will give them credit for clamping down on anything besides speculation. And that's what every single post I have seen and every story I've seen is. At this point, you're almost like eliminating who you think it's not.
Right. And from that standpoint, and you and I had went back and forth in a text exchange earlier this week, and a couple of folks that we feel like it's probably not for various reasons. Jeff Walls at Louisville and Kara Lawson at Duke. Is that fair?
I mean, you would take a look at both, but would I expect either one of those? I mean, no, at this point. For Kara Lawson has had great success at Duke, but you would need to be her resume right now is the same as Kelly's. So it wouldn't make sense, given the parameters of what you said you were going to do. Jeff Waltz has been in a Final Four, but not sure. I just don't know. I mean, all of these, Wes Moore, would he leave NC State? I doubt it.
67-year-old Wes Moore?
And if I don't think he would leave. And number two, he is so close to Kelly and John. I'm not even sure he would want to follow them to Tennessee. So, I mean, Dawn Staley, that's your obvious go-to. But they're building a statue of Dawn in downtown Columbia, South Carolina. So it has been an interesting search because there's not necessarily attainable home run candidates, but you've got to go try to get them. But that's a hard. When it comes down to it, would a coach like a Kim Mulkey or a Dawn Staley, would they leave the ideal environment they have now? My answer to that is probably no.
Well, and to that point, those throwing out the name Becky Hammon, I mean, being a pro coach versus being a college coach is a completely different world. And her goal is to get to the NBA, not to continue coaching women for the remainder of her career. I feel like.
And I'm not sure any WNBA coach wants to deal with the year-round 24/7 supervision you must have of college athletes, and your summers are spent in hot AAU gyms in July. That's just a different world. For a WNBA coach has a lot more, not so much freedom, but with a college coach, you are a babysitter. 7 days a week, around the clock. You have to know what all your players are doing. Professional players, they're grown-ups. And if they do something they shouldn't, you cut them the next morning.
Yeah, there's plenty more where they came from. That's not necessarily the case at the collegiate level. So I guess
no, you're suddenly down a player if you do that. You can't go get somebody off the waiver wire or re-sign somebody. I mean, you're down a player.
Yeah. So. A name that has been knocked around, Maria, Lindsey Gottlieb at USC, and there's no Juju Watkins in Knoxville. And I mean, I know that it's about more than one player, but at the same time, this is an Elite
There
Eight
can
team.
be.
Do you really step away from? Well, I forget
And the
about
transfer
the
portal's open,
transfer
baby.
portal. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it wouldn't take much for there to be a Juju Watkins in Knoxville, literally. But realistically speaking, how realistic do you feel like that name is?
Do you leave the West Coast? I mean, when you've got a number one recruiting class coming in, you're recruiting the heck out of California. I mean, that's a big move. Now, the oddity there, of course, is Southern Cal and Stanford now moving to the Big Ten. So it's not like they're going to get to spend all their time along the West Coast. They're going to have some incredibly horrific travel schedules for those teams. But I don't know if, once again, when push comes to shove, do you pick up and move across the country? I don't know.
I mean,
this has been me. You shaking your head. This has been me all week. Every time a name comes up, I'm like, well, that's a good one, but there's a but with everything.
Right.
Okay. So, and obviously Danny White has been really good at finding some under the radar, because I mean, Tony Vitello was a name, but it wasn't, he's not a national championship winning coach. Josh Heupel certainly wasn't a national championship winning coach. And, it feels like,
and they're still not, by the way, but
no,
yeah,
but
I get your point.
But they've certainly elevated both of those programs. Now, those programs do not and are not held to the same standard as, Tennessee women's basketball.
Right.
That is a different world. But, you take a look at, Greg Byrne and what he's done in Alabama with Nate Oates. I mean, there are coaches out there, but they're all gambles. And, you think Florida Gulf Coast, you think Grand Canyon, you think some of these young coaches that have done it at the lower levels. I mean, they're your second choice in this matter, but they may be your only choice in the end.
I agree with that. And if it is, let's say it's a mid-major coach, am I going to be critical or upset? I mean, no. I mean, that's one thing I would ask everyone to do. Whoever it is, give this person a chance.
Sure.
Tennessee fans they're impatient. We all know that. I love them because they're incredibly passionate, but there are some coaches that fly under the radar. And I mean, like Josh Heupel did not come from a Power 5 program, but Tennessee is nationally competitive very quickly under Josh Heupel. Now, Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt had a lot to do with that, but Tennessee is back in the big picture. Baseball, I mean, hadn't been to a College World Series in forever. So you can identify good coaches, and in women's basketball, there's a lot of good coaches in the trenches. So it's not. I'm not going to if it went that route, I would not dismiss that hire, outright.
One of the things that I'm curious about in this coaching search is, and because to this point, there have been three basically coaches in the history of Tennessee women's basketball.
Well, really, in women's basketball, this is the second, because Holly was appointed, Holly became the head coach the day Pat Summitt retired. And then Kelly was the first actual coaching search. So this is the second one.
And they've only had three coaches, and we'll just put it at that. And they've all been female. Is a male an option?
I go back and forth on that. When they first did it with Kelly, my position was, and it's one from a position of equality. I've had people say, why would you, rule out one gender for a head coach? I said, because when men's head coaching jobs come open, women are pretty much ruled out in college basketball.
Absolutely.
So women are already, and now you're saying, well, we have to consider men and women for this sport. I've always said, keep Tennessee a female-led coach until women are actually considered actual candidates for men's position, because Pat's whole legacy was to elevate and empower women. I realize there could be cases where you would deviate from that. So I'm not going to, but would I prefer at a program coached by the legacy and the legacy of Pat Summitt be female? Absolutely. And that's primarily because none of the women we're talking about are seriously considered on the men's side. If, like, say Rick Barnes retired in 2 years, would a female coach even be given a phone call beyond the perfunctory, we check the box? No. But so, I mean, I'm not going to be up in arms if it's a male coach. I'm not going to say this is wrong. But would I prefer a female coach? Yes, for those reasons, for equality reasons.
Maria Cornelius of GoVols 24/7 joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Has Danny spoken at all since Monday?
No, and his statement said he would not to preserve the integrity of the process. No, it's a cone of silence at UT, and that is hard to do in this day and age. I remember when Muffet McGraw retired, and I think there was 16 minutes between her retirement and the announcement of Neil Ivey. That's a hard feat to pull off because there's multiple people who know that's happening, and they all have to stay quiet. So Tennessee has managed to do that. I mean, Neil Ivey's another one you consider, but she's coaching at her alma mater. There's so many good ones to consider, but would they leave? And I keep coming back to the answer of probably not.
And that makes it tough, especially when you feel like even with everything that Tennessee has been through recently, just like you felt about the football program, you still feel like the Tennessee women's basketball coaching position is one of the top jobs in the country, period. End of discussion.
I mean, because the resources are there, and they're going to out-resource everybody. I mean, Tennessee as an athletic department has beaten everybody in the country at NIL. They've just been on the forefront of it. So if they can somehow put that into the women's game, I think this is a program that could, you could potentially lure someone from one of those places because of that.
NIL has been a struggle with the women's basketball, but it is definitely on the upswing. I mean, they seem to have figured it out for 2025, and they're credibly would have probably had a very top-ranked draft. I mean, a very top-ranked recruiting class in 25. But that's just another what if. There is momentum in that direction. I think the next coach will have the funds needed to better compete in NIL, and that has already been put in place. It had finally gotten to a point. I mean, Tennessee was losing recruits left and right to not having sufficient NIL money in the class of 23 in particular, and 24.
Hurry up and wait.
I was not aware of the issues there. I would have thought that Tennessee would have been on the forefront, especially on the women's basketball side. But
there's a lot of old school boosters who think that that tuition, scholarships, and books, that's enough. And I think now they've seen, oh, wait a minute, we're losing. I mean, they lost 3 major recruits in 23 to NIL, including Madison Booker, the Big 12 SEC Player of the Year as a freshman. She visited Tennessee 5 times. And a month and a half out before signing period, had flipped to Texas. That hurts.
Ouch. That hurts. Maria Cornelius of GoVols247.com joining us here on Main Street Sports today. Maria, we appreciate it. And I don't know how many more updates we look forward to from you, because hopefully something will be popping pretty soon. But we do look forward to catching back up with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, there's a lot of chatter that it could happen Friday. If it happens Friday, it's obviously not a current Final Four coach. Or
like tomorrow, Friday?
Yeah. I mean, there's some chatter that it could be done this week. I think the latest it has to be Monday or Tuesday. I mean, Tennessee's behind. The portal's open. You can't there's nobody to contact those players or host visits. The first major recruiting showcase is April 19th. You got to get a staff in place, certified, and on the road in 2 weeks. It's got to move fast. And that's not criticism. I think they're moving fast, but it's got to go.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Maria, thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm very jealous of you being at the ballpark, by the way.
I'm at the office.
Oh,
I have a green
that's right.
screen. Yeah, it's I wish I was at the ballpark. Maybe not that one particularly out in Sacramento, but any ballpark would do right now.
Absolutely.
All right,
Thanks.
guys.
We'll
Well, hopefully within say 4 days, we're talking about the new coach of the Lady Vols, and everybody, like I said, just everybody take a deep breath, whoever it is, and let's get the Lady Vol dynasty back to what it was.
There we go. Thank you, Maria.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hey, Mo.
Hey.
Before we jump out of women's basketball, being reported by Rivals that Haley Van Lith has entered the transfer portal for her COVID year.
Okay.
After averaging just 11.6 points and 3.6 assists for the Bayou Bengals.
Well, I don't know if that's a just on an Elite Eight team, but
it is when you consider that at Louisville she averaged 19.7 points
on a team that got knocked out. When I mean,
I don't know, but it's still.
I would think that she felt like her numbers were going to take a step back when she stepped onto a defending national championship team that had the players that they had.
I don't know if she thought that or not.
Well, I hope she had that much self-awareness about herself. When you look around and you see the DePaul transfer, Anissa Morrow, and you see Angel Reese, and you see Flo J. Johnson, I would like to think that she didn't think she was going to go in there and average 20 points a game.
I think that Kim Mulkey thought she was going to.
Well, then the coach is diluted then.
That may be, but that's just what that's what I'm thinking. I think that she thought she was going to add 20 points to her national championship team.
Yeah, well.
No, okay. She did increase her assists marginally, but it was an increase. But anyway,
I guess while we're on women's basketball real quick, Chattanooga named a successor to current Clemson coach Sean Poppy. Deandra Shermer, who went 78 and 16 over the last 3 years at Valdosta State in the Gulf South D2 division, is the new Lady Mocs coach. She was 114 and 31 in 5 seasons at Valdosta. And Tennessee State women's basketball coach Ty Evans announced his resignation yesterday after 4 seasons, during which he went 34 and 78. Former assistant at Auburn, Georgetown, Alabama, and St. Louis. TSU was the 8th seed in each of the last 3 OVC tournaments. Picked up opening round wins this past season and in 2022, lost in the opening round in 2023. So there.
Louisville was in the Elite Eight last year. They lost to Iowa.
Oh, okay. So,
I mean, I'm just saying.
So she didn't necessarily improve her postseason standing.
No, she didn't. And that's what's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's in the portal. I'll be curious to see where she ends up.
She might wind up at MTSU. She seems to like them.
She seems to like. Hey, I'm telling you, man, this transfer portal, and I think that's one of the things that we talk about. I mean, USC's coach is not off the table. I mean, I know she's got a number one.
And neither is Juju, huh?
And neither is Juju. I mean, nobody is, because it doesn't matter. If you've got, if you've got the pull with those kids, and you've got the backing of donors and NIL, you can go get anybody.
going to be an interesting few days, I guess, in light of what Maria just said along those lines of the timing of the whole thing. So let's just stay right here and
let's do it.
Slide into the grab bag. Something that we weren't able to pay a lot of attention to yesterday. The Houston Texans are still at it.
I'm telling you, they have basically said we're going all in on CJ Stroud's rookie window. And good. I mean, it's smart. If you're not having to pay a quarterback, a bunch of money, you can load up around him with, with great talent. And that's what they've done with Stephon Diggs, and didn't give up much for him.
Didn't give up much for him at all. Sent a 2025 second round pick and a 2024. No, wait a minute.
No, they got a 2024.
They got a 2024.
Yeah, they got a pick.
And they got 2 picks and Diggs.
For 1 pick, I think.
And Buffalo's going to have $31 million in dead money on their cap.
Now, let's at least, throw this out there. Stephon Diggs, he's a 1,200-yard receiver. But I don't know what Buffalo's thinking here.
I think Buffalo's thinking addition by subtraction, because apparently they certainly weren't torn up to see him go. According to CBS Sports, this trade marks the end of what had grown into a somewhat toxic relationship between Diggs and the Bills organization. Last month, Diggs had a cryptic social media post where the wideout said he was, quote, ready for whatever.
I mean, you got to get more out of it than a pick.
You would think. I mean, just for the fact that somebody wanted him, you got to get more than that.
And Houston didn't even give up their pick. They gave up one of the picks they got from the Deshaun Watson trade. So I mean, this is it's wild.
It is. I mean, but Houston, like you said, is definitely, as former Giants coach Jim Fossil said, pushing all their chips to the middle of the table. They are all in.
Let me see if I can find that tweet. Here it is. Football and Other F Words podcast. Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed has played in 5 games versus the Bills. Here's what Stephon Diggs did. 3 catches on 10 targets, 37 yards, no touchdowns.
In 5 games?
In 5 games.
In 5 games, he had 3 catches for 37 yards.
On just 10 targets.
They didn't even try to throw it to him. Okay. It's almost like the Titans expected this.
Almost. But you got to give credit for the Texans, man. They've done a really good job. A player's coach, got a really good coach in there. They were able to parlay Deshaun Watson's ordeal into a lot of picks, and they happened to hit on the right quarterback.
It seems.
I mean, how many other rookies are winning first-round games in the playoffs, right? Not many.
I still view Trevor Lawrence as a cautionary tale, at least.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Trevor Lawrence did nothing to earn the reputation he got. CJ Stroud has. CJ Stroud has actually gone to the playoffs and won a game and looked good doing it. Trevor Lawrence backed into the playoffs.
But he won a game last year, didn't they?
They did, but they backed into the playoffs. It wasn't like they went out and they won the division, but only because of a very questionable call on a fumble. So, I mean, it wasn't like they went out and took it. They backed in. Now, yeah, they won a game, but I think that CJ Stroud, again, sophomore slumps are a thing, but we'll see.
Oh, we've got a lot in the grab bag. Yeah, where you want to go?
Let's go to. You already mentioned those. Let's talk about Musselman real quick.
Yeah, let's do. Former Arkansas coach apparently headed to the West Coast to take over out at Southern Cal. I don't know. I knew Southern Cal was open, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I did know it was open. I knew that Musselman was their target. Have you ever seen a coach be turned on so quickly by a fan base? I mean, this is a guy that took them to the Elite Eight, twice in a row?
Well,
and then, I mean, obviously didn't make the turn, but I mean, it's just 1 year. Like, whoa, dude, calm down.
What is it I've said to you? You can lose games.
I mean, is he is he a jerk? I don't know.
I think it depends on who you ask. I think if he's not a jerk, I think he has jerk-like qualities.
Well, yeah, but he won games. He went to the Elite Eight twice.
Well, he didn't go this year. They were 16 and 17 this year.
They were bad, and obviously the Duke win at home was big, but they were pretty bad. I just it blows my mind that they turned on him so quickly, and good for him for getting out and getting. He's like, you know what? I don't have to take this crap. Other people want me. It's like getting out of an abusive relationship. It's like there are people out there who want me, and I don't have to stay with you, jerk.
According to the Reno Gazette Journal, Musselman was formerly at Nevada. Well, Musselman was at Nevada, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Arkansas AD Hunter Yurachek on Monday posted a video to X, formerly Twitter, implying that Musselman would be sticking around for the 24-25 season. Neither Musselman nor any member of his staff reposted that video, increasing speculation that the head coach was looking elsewhere.
Yeah. It's like, he's not going anywhere. You sure about that? That's what they think.
Yeah.
Now,
you might want to ask him about that. Yeah.
Now, that being said, who does Arkansas need to hire? This is the same thing that everybody, by the way, is talking about. Our friends at Southeastern 14 are talking about it right now. I mean, everybody's talking about it. And you know the name. Everybody's saying.
I guarantee you. I mean, even CL Brown said it about the Louisville job a couple of weeks ago. Just go win some ball games. I mean, and how you win them. And again, we've had this conversation about this guy. What he did to get in trouble may not even be illegal anymore. So maybe it's time to bring Will Wade back from the hinterlands of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
What if it's Chris Beard?
Ooh.
Would you go if you're Chris Beard? I say yes. I think Arkansas is all in.
I think Arkansas is a better job than Ole Miss, but I feel like if you're Chris Beard and you take that job, you better be there for a while. Right? I mean, you can't leave after 1 year, can you?
What, at Ole Miss, he can leave. Yeah, he can go to Arkansas. For sure. And
that would be tough.
Here's another name, and I'm just going to throw this out there. We don't have a whole lot of time, but Jerome Tang. I love the idea, getting him out of the Big 12, bringing him over. I know the Big 12 is a basketball league, whatever, but they can pay him. They can make him, and the SEC is a better basketball league than the Big 12 right now, in my opinion. And he doesn't have to play second fiddle to anybody in the state.
No. That's
Anyway,
interesting.
just thoughts.
Yeah. Well, those are interesting thoughts. Good job. See ya.
You gotta get.
Thanks for joining us here on this highly disappointed Manfred Report today, presented by Tennessee of Columbia. We will be back. Well, I'll be back tomorrow along with Wade Neely in the Lee Company studios in Columbia, and hopefully Friday will be better. We'll talk to y'all at 2:00.